Chairman Nike Enzo so many tapa Chairman Nike a minor man council Mamencha Chairman on a Chairman Nayao my boss hot trees
Ken Mamencha ye for near chef for an no pay Mesa said ye free FIFA Club World Cup ebe koso nyame ado mechna US Chelsea PSG. The first thing I'm a person me yeni se me acknowledge two clubs no. Ye share FIFA Club World Cup na se no. Na 32 clubs. Ano mu nyina akohie mu say omo ko fight for just one trophy. Ya ba do this stage Chelsea ni PSG akwa ko do final. The first thing you need to do is to acknowledge two clubs in a performance, most especially Chelsea. Me a pretty sure say among 32 clubs e ko FIFA Club World Cup no. PSG ko final and said that nyankofo nwa bebre because of more recent performance no. But me sure say na oka clubs ankofo te form so be ko final nipa do amfa Chelsea anka ho. Enti mebo Chelsea abaso na mabo PSG for so abaso. E 6 different confederations and e ko piem wo ho anom de 32 clubs koi na 2 clubs we akọ final e wo se me ball mabaso. Obi bi o hwe football. Uyi emotions free ho, uyi bias free ho. And the ball na yebo ni sesi no. Chelsea nie, PSG nie. Eye so clear second. PSG ya de sen Chelsea sesi. Minimo bia obe argue say Chelsea e was so esen Chelsea imprint ya. Based on the kind of football yebo ni sesi. Enti mini nipa dodo na ya adwen say nyame ya adom e kina match be koso no. Team e friend say PSG and ye favorite e was a game we mu. Eye no kre. Ball na yebo no. Say Chelsea ntimi nka nkyeme so ya de sen PSG ya de sen Chelsea. Enti Chelsea era game nim no eye PSG na ye favorite. And yes a PSG for players are omo Chelsea for no so bebre wo. In terms of individual qualities no, the gap between Chelsea and PSG no enye wide sir. But the difference e wo boku ni ma PSG was ro sen Chelsea no eye one collective play. Se PSG si akan na Chelsea si akan between these two clubs the omu say eye well organized understanding was through ye cat teamwork omo ti omo ho ase eye PSG bobuko no so the difference ma PSG nkofo so omo ye favorite or was ro say Chelsea no baako eye teamwork PSG teamwork no was ro say Chelsea se ofa PSG bobuko na a proper tactical identity on the field se won se PSG for si akan omo play according to a proper systematical order. Eti PSG for ni si akan ya se coach insano wo PSG team ne so. Say afina Enzo Maresca no so no gradually Chelsea players no etenase. Enti between these two clubs PSG for our proper tactical identity ahead of Chelsea. And a tactical instructions say PSG for ni si akan ya se the coach na catch from no omo timi execute ni ye. Enti sa factors ni na ne kabom ana obeka say PSG bobuko no e was ro sen Chelsea because of the kind of football mu display e wa agropama ne so we ye no sinchen na wo na ro ho na obehwe FIFA Club World Cup ne nko aye bo ne sesi ya FIFA Club World Cup na aye koso no ye sha ase e besi ne no o ka PSG ni Chelsea na o use metrics ahodo aye de analyze teams between Chelsea and PSG every metric e FIFA Club World Cup no ekwa de ma PSG in terms of big chances I create PSG are creating be Chelsea on FIFA Club World Cup no wenya 24 Chelsea enya 18 eba big chances are PSG ahead of Chelsea teams are ose goals kese between these two clubs e FIFA Club World Cup PSG are goals say Chelsea so in terms of attack PSG was through saying Chelsea e FIFA Club World Cup se over defense kino nim say FIFA Club World Cup PSG are concede 1 goal Chelsea a concede 5 goals. So in terms of defense, PSG sa was through. Say yen crab ball, yen pass ni nyina enti every metric e wo FIFA Club World Cup no e kwa de ma PSG. Enti wo de sa factors we nyina ba together. Ubetima ka say PSG e ye favorite. De bia me wasema meka. Say ye bebo game bia wo de wo favorite. But ye she game na se a bibia timi sesa. That's the reason why ye tag wo say wo ye favorite and no nche say automatically we win game no. Ubetima ye favorite by ye she game na se anyoma timi sesa na wa wo ye favorite ni mpokra no wakwa kolusu so enfa hu se PSG ye favorite no ontimi underrate Chelsea untimi take anything away from Chelsea. Untimi overlook Chelsea, say Chelsea untimi nkoye bibia. So PSG a favorite, but untimi underrated Chelsea bobo say Chelsea. Final no untimi nye bibia. A final game. Ken every final game. Yankobo ba efe. Enya ba efe, enya beautiful football. You make sure see a take a moment. No ye the needful. The needful ni say. Ube make sure say. Ube defend very well. Opportunity ni ba no etimi take opportunity. No etimi ashe. Enti PSG betima ko final. Akobobo na efe ni nyina. But when timi an take any moment. Now we mistakes. Chelsea betima punish no. That's the reason why I can say football na ye bono. Ye bo final. Final ye ko wini by ye nkonkobo. Enti Chelsea die. Omu red game nim no enyo mo na ye favorite PSG na ye favorite say obi akwa akwohwe say Chelsea betima stop PSG bo boku na eno question obi abusa wo because eye PSG bo boku a from eye this year eba no oche Liverpool no ahye Liverpool eliminate omo oche Arsenal no eliminate Arsenal oba FIFA Club World Cup oche Atletico Madrid no ama Atletico Madrid 4 UEFA Champions League no ama Inter Milan 5 oba ye waba be Real Madrid 4 wase Bayern 2 enti PSG sia teams akese na obo mo so question akin obi ebusa ne say nyame ya adom etina Chelsea ebetima stop PSG boboku na that's the big question. The first thing I may expect to game nim no so you Chelsea fan can recently every final biano goalkeepers a key final bi ayabo biano goalkeepers a key so say Chelsea betima win sa final we are the first point Robert Sanchez omu goalkeeper no sa o check Chelsea boboku na one of omu weakest departments omu goalkeeping department. Robert Sanchez otimi some errors mistakes ahood will be I ekotia Chelsea final game who expect say u goalkeeper ebe ma ne best performance eduru dia who expect say u goalkeeper betima save enti say Chelsea betima win sa game we ya e wasa Robert Sanchez enya ni day sa okosoro eba forma PSG for ne ba attack on be create chances no PSG betima beat Chelsea defensive line se PSG beat Chelsea defensive line na PSG attack no mu create chances na u goalkeeper ne so ye errors a e be ye disaster kese dia ma Chelsea ene se wo bu se obi bi o football say ye bo final Donnarumma nie Robert Sanchez nie eduru dia why na wo gidie so betima save ne club a dodo na be ko dia ma Donnarumma because of the way and it's a final no nyoma be ko ye dia ma Chelsea a the first point Abrante friend say Robert Sanchez say obenya ni day so nyani day a ebetima ko ye dia ma Chelsea now ye nra game nim ni analyze game ne proper ken say over PSG boboko na omo ye favorite na omo coach Luis Enrique ne ball no obo ni nyina no or emphasize on nyoma miensa one high intensity pressing the toso mienu positional play the toso miensa intelligent rotation. Luis Enrique adia opese time ya ni team ne no na ne style na o use no obobo a efe opese o control ball enti ball na PSG for ebo say no enye the first time I hu say a football club ebo sa ball ni since the ball na PSG for ebo say ni hu bia be sine the style na PSG for obo no the first person now making sure says our style of play we yen dominate play yen build it from the back only foundation no Jimmy Hogan in 1930s Jimmy Hogan invented this style of play no and the Netherlands for ni be so in 1970 and on making sure say on be yen ye am we asking net me accept it. That's the reason why from there you who say NS Harpo you who so bit to say Cruyff aba Pep Guardiola yusu amene Luis Enrique ni PSG for Yusubia. Omo making sure say omo boba efe. And the style of play of PSG, the first thing is possession. Ukosia PSG under Luis Enrique opeso possess ball no. Or say the players ni position ni huye. And what's the time biano or making sure say ball no omo no play ni ebe attractive. And to omo yusu the 3-piece football mu under Luis Enrique and PSG. So we 3-piece ni free wa. Time biano pese the game no omo no ball ni be flow. And to a fluidity in the game nim. And what's the players need to me express your that freedom. Na ball no more bon F and also so F miensa. And under Luis Enrique PSG for approach the P3F3 rotation approach. And no na say omo yusu. So uko share PSG. Na when almost style of player who can be so a stop yomo. And sa system no use no on the field of play on paper. Obession the team ne 4-3-3 can't. are you ready for me? PSG for no on paper, 4-3-3. 4-3-3 no, so omo be attack bebre. Se omo attack ya, ne 4 back no, mostly say Hakimi Ashraf. Ana omani ko nanim bebre. Se Hakimi Ashraf anko nanim anko overlap, ama the way e move inside that, or expect Hakimi Ashraf say, oba be come midfielders na no way invert. The moment Hakimi Ashraf be ko nanim no, na chire ho aba back 3 no, Vitinha ebe gino manim pe. Because Vitinha no ana be the controller, obey the conductor, obey the direction ni nyina. Enti the flow and the direction na PSG be bo mu bo ni nyina no. Player oye anko, player be gina ne so pa no, e abrante friend say Vitinha. The moment Vitinha ni be stay deep, obey try so obey direct play no. Na abrante friend say Joao Neves and Fabian Ruiz so a rotate position amoma push out komanim. Enti recently, so what check obi to say Fabian Ruiz penna. Otimi ko nanim bia na otimi koma o goals because Vitinha obe stay. Not 3 players omo omanim no. Doué, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. Omo ye 3 players are the strikerless system. Unye natural number 9. Omo movie, omo rotate. And ne kwan omo faso esi o makan. And to this style of play, Emma PSG for create more. Emma PSG for eshe goals a lot. And to say what check omo nipa 5 for omo omanim this season. Ken Dembele am 35 goals. Ubenya Bakola, wama 21 goals. Kvaratskhelia am 8 goals. Doué am 16 goals. Gonzalo Ramos no bench am 19 goals. So 5 players we am 99 goals. PSG for 5 players am mudino. Omamo 99 goals because of the style of play omobo. The entire season omabo 64 games. Omasha 168 goals. And to Chelsea kwa share team omo attack, omo control game. Omu create and omu share. Enti kwan be so and Chelsea befa so as stop PSG. That's the big question. Chelsea ntimi enko dominate play ahead of PSG. E be den say Chelsea be kasa omu na be control more ball ne more as in PSG. Enti kwan be so and Chelsea befa so as stop PSG. And Chelsea be win game no. Na Chelsea betimi enya the best Chelsea off ball movements. Chelsea kwan be fast we defend no and beti mama Chelsea e wini anase on wini enye kwan Chelsea be fast we attack se okwa Chelsea team na definitely they will create on beti ma anya go by kwan be so no be fast we defend Enrique and se ukoshia Luis Enrique team ye wo kwan miensa a ye fast so stop Luis Enrique team baako high intensity pressing baako se obesity deep na wa very compact ana baako se ubebiem obo na so obo na wo create chances na wo dominate play enti sa kwan miensa we no wo ye Chelsea fan abusa won say die na beboa Chelsea so mbetime defend dia Chelsea enko high intensity pressing na Chelsea NCT deep no mo nyusu counter breaking in from BT PSG and as Chelsea mbiem no mo make sure some to be control ball ni bi sa nyoma miensa we die na beboa Chelsea pa Ken to me I don't see Chelsea say obebie game nim any PSG aboni toe to toe. Se Chelsea ebiem. Oh, but me so me but me hu sa de nse be si wo game nim. By based on Chelsea materials no, I feel say Chelsea will play so betima press PSG for ni very well. And so person press PSG for ni very well. PSG for ni build it from the back. Team you build it from the back. Ne say o person stop no in terms of pressing you use 3DL. 3DL no 3 defensive lines. The first defensive line was a shot here from a front 3. And it is a Chelsea betima press PSG for ni very well. And what's the front 3 of Chelsea Football Club? And I said the press and I say. And so front 3 no, and you most likely say Chelsea ebe yusu Joao Pedro, Nkuku, and a Pedro Neto. So 3 players in the best as ya press. Say omo press ya, and what's the one the intensity of omo pressing e was ro. Untimi nya soft. In pressing, so person stop PSG because omo move ball quick. And it's a person press you omo man kasa half. And what's the intensity in was ro. The tosu mienu in pressing, and what's the cover shadow. Cover shadow ni yesese me press PSG player. Player no ye PSG ni no crab on say huni nia na o mechi no. Enti usunsum na sa cover the one echi no. And your friend cover shadow. So Chelsea use the intensity pressing, and what's almost a cover shadow. The moment on betima yes adie no players no more Chelsea echiro hot a PSG echiro say on be progressive no e the pressure beto omo so either say on be come back way a back pass sideways on be long balls and also on be lose possession. That's the first and the most important thing. the moment a Chelsea front three ni betima press very well no o expect Chelsea midfielders ni say ombe close down Vitinha, Joao Neves and Fabian Ruiz penna and the duty of Chelsea midfielders ni so be sad no. That's the reason why I yes say oh yeah high press na and was say a coordinated, well calculated timing and I believe little space. And to say Chelsea betima press very well and was say a shot here from any more for no. Say Chelsea to me a press very well. A bit my boy Chelsea bobuku no and impressing a was a munina mo kabum. Et said ye mu pushika. Some ye nipa 5 na mu pushika. Na nipa mi no 2 mo ho se o mu pushia mu ntimi pushi ni yi. By some munina mo kabum na mu pia dia mu timi pushi ni yi. Enti say Chelsea bet to me akọ for the press na. E be ye kwan a Chelsea team nyina betima press. Say Chelsea ka so on press. Obesha ase so obesity deep. Na wa allow PSG for na build it from the back. No ma stop PSG for from the midway. And so be use the 2 defensive line. It means that Chelsea front line no players from wenim ho Joao Pedro, Nkunku, and Pedro Neto. Ombe drop ya Benfinfin. Omo drop Benfinfin omba beka Kopama, Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo. Na Chelsea enya numerical central numerical advantage. And omba benya more players e won finfin ho because already with 3 players from wenim ho no oma drop and oma beka 3 midfielders no. And Chelsea benya 6 e won finfin ho. Se Chelsea person omo use sa compact block na in defending a compact block no and what's making sure say we retain compactness. Se ukogu we chiro bebre na still na ni ntokro we chiro ha opponent ni betime biem. And one reason why I told them be a Real Madrid for me defend wo mechiro once a players ni na egu chiro by opponent etimi biem ni say omo ntimi retain compactness. And se o ye Chelsea na on press it Obe allow PSG for say omon build it from the back. Omon fan free omechiro and fambre anymore. But obe stop you from the midway. Now when you're close to defenders now, I was to retaining spatial compactness and a player compactness. The space in between the players, I was say you close. The space I believe no, I was to me avoid it. And it's a Chelsea be defending deeper. I was to me retaining compactness. Can PSG for a team omo pay space. Omo pese omo do omo passes in the creative chances. And team be open space behind so person stopping now. You use the space oriented zonal marking. Space oriented zonal marking no the processor who defend here, unshare player, unshare ball by available spaces in utretia. Et said the auto dame, we piano to utretia auto. And it's available spaces in Yanu close because who could share PSG. Kvaratskhelia space. Doué space, Dembele space, Hakimi Ashraf space. Even on more passes, no passing lane na Vitinha and Joao Neves be use no a space. And to the moment I be use space oriented zone marking no, who close all the available spaces. So born into me ba u D zone. D zone is danger zone. And two months on be pass ball now around so by into me ba half. A chance of close the available spaces. Chelsea be here sadie no. Now what your stories? Only kweku kasa no PSG for no epe boy de rani. O say Hakimi Ashraf say omo rani bebre. Team out the ball running bebre no o markina ye nhwe player no because o running o rotate o interchange position enti fa ne se me ye adara bi eyo ne ye se me mark Dembele njina ni ho na makokolosi no obekọ left obekọ right enti me kase me follow na me jam space e wo ma kire ho PSG for no betime utilize enti se ukosia team a omo ye quick feet omo running with the ball omo ye a lot of rotation and interpositional player who close your ma na wo mark your ma ye hwe ball adia ba ko ebi ti Real Madrid no Rudiger eba player so a eye player no ko he no enye ball no enti time ya ne se ball ni bi ti player ne pe afa ne ho by se ukosia PSG team ni sesi a ye akwesi broni be kase ball oriented marking men hwe player no men hwe ne nan by focus on the ball position ne ba bi a ball ni be move ne ho na ade wa adwen be ko. And to Chelsea be say here ball oriented. How won't bet me a stop boss no? Emma boss need to me movie. And to Chelsea be here sad year way you to stop PSG bobo no. No matter make sure say on apply the principles of defending. One important thing of principles of defending is support and defensive cover. And the PSG for the win so you Dembele etimi fa ho, Hakimi Ashraf etimi fa ho, Kvaratskhelia etimi fa ho. Sir Reece James never bought the right back. Se Kukureya na bebo right back a untimi nja adwuma ni nyina emfensi omoso on be hia support Chelsea fullbacks ni be hia defensive cover no metimi stop PSG for on the wings by the key moments the key areas the midfield battle Vitinha, Joao Neves, Fabian Ruiz ken omon technician omon ni ball ni kura omon ni ball ni passe Enzo, Caicedo, Kopama Uyi Kopa Mefriwa, Caicedo ni Enzo Fernandez, physically, aggression was so. And you two different style of playing, you be who fin ho. Then how Chelsea be continue wings, no. And a game back on paper, Ken. PSG for no and ye favorite. By say Chelsea to turn in ye. No mu follow instructions. No mu ye discipline. Omu avoid the errors. Chelsea susu opportunity. Errors are very important. PSG for ne press very well. And to say Chelsea players ni crabo. Na omu panic. No mu ye a lot of mistakes. PSG for be punish omu. And to mo be and write Chelsea off. Chelsea stay disciplined. A final game. Ken final game. And in final game, every detail is very important. But on paper, untimin take anything away from PSG. Okay. PSG for your favorite. By memo be and write Chelsea for ne off.
Well, Kwame Jela on PSG, aye Chelsea. As again, we remu yepa. Me who kopa my interview here. There's no can say. PSG are the best team. Nemo emobia room fi say aye final. Aye final. Final players be bri wadwen say. Final identities kakra bibia timisi because a one of game ya pon
me kra de menka final make us a one of games bia ehu we'll do our analysis based on previous occurrences but the basic game in mu die bibia timisi just like we were saying one red card and one set pieces can change the game. And one decision from a player can change the game. And I agree. One of games a day. One of games a day. BBA. But one thing we are also forgetting to say, Chelsea knows how to play finals, yes. But the last final, we as a PAG surprised all of us. They did not just win, they played well. Proper football. In Saman Common Mubipa, Ken. I mean, somebody wants to say. Aquafresh, Ken, Aquafresh, and then birthday.
Aquafresh.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, bro. Aquafresh and Krama Yejma Bakopano. I am on a Bosiana say. Aquafresh. Solid guy. Happy birthday, bro.
Okay.
And Abia Pavila will be a son of
yeah, Pavi.
Okay.
I was so doing crown of him. Mamichian Yepa. Here can that say football growing up. There is a traditional concept to say over a 3-man midfielder, you should have a tackler, you should have a controller, you should have a creator. I get 3. What's the say 4-3-3 bianwa? The traditional understanding of football is that one of your defenders, one of your midfielders should be someone who bets the ball, who attack it. Bako, I was so controlling game no demao. Bako, I was so a crazy chance at the mouth. That's the traditional way of a 3-man midfield. Now, Ken, I dare to ask to say, how we define a traditional 3-man midfield? Vitinha, Joao Neves, Fabian Ruiz. Why an air tackler was our midfield? Because if you're careful and analyze the Paris Saint-Germain team, there are things we are as a sakakra. And that is why it is important that Chelsea looks at these details. Because Sa 3 midfield was we who naturally do tackler, yet we say are the best midfield in Europe. To Chelsea, we know say I said they are solid, young ball, but for no money natural tackler, yet they are the best midfield in Europe. Okay, let me take you back. 2014-2015 season, Luis Enrique team noa a Champions League with Barcelona. No, Sergio Busquets was around about 26 at time. No, Javi Hernandez about 35. Iniesta no about 31. That midfield plus Ivan Rakitic kakra played well, controlled game from Kankring to Kankring, won the Champions League. So ask yourself, say, Luis Enrique that traditional way of 3-man midfield ono kwa de o say they natural tackler, yet we say his teams play well, they control games well, they have the best midfield.
Ono Kasaido Mone Besuma mo oni sa anko for ne omo mbujeje mfin ahoden
David
oni ahoden for ne
David, yet the team will be higher, say the team now the best midfield
because I find an obo Rakitic obo aye Niesta
Busquets
and obo Busquets and Javi Tinche.
Ask yourself why. Let me give you similarities. Sa team, you know. Na esan say coach, you know. I realize say the midfielders, no, they cannot tag the ball, no. Omutimi tackle bebre, no. The idea was that goalkeeper Jibola, make sure you are looking at Hodi Alba or Danny Alves first. Inti Saboni Bedi, right fullback, left fullback, quickly they get the ball to the forward place. Neymar, Messi. Okay. This Paris Saint-Germain team, say goalkeeper Foboa, attacker Infa. It goes to either Hakimi or Nuno Mendes. Hakimi get the ball to the forwards, Idai Doi, Dembele, or Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, Emubako. Meboa. Isn't it another similarity? Say, Saba Satim, you know, they had Dani Alves and Hodi Alba, who were at that time the best fullbacks in the world. And they Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, the best fullbacks in the world. Meboa. There seemed to be some line of how Luis Enrique, Ninyama and Abasa, and the Oye Nisisi. Now, and then, and as a Yamia Duma, or Chisa game no shasia. Saboni di Donnarumma wa. And Pempi ni someone yamo build up. Bonsa Hakimi we biem. Na Nuno Mendes ebie, but most times he's looking at Hakimi first. Na enemy feel say if Chelsea are not careful, they will start the game wrong. And let me explain to you why. Okay? Pressing wohu. Something you do consistently. And answer what perfect it. You cannot use 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, and from perfect pressing. See here, a repetitive action. The more you do, the more you understand. Because idea a coordinated idea. One player, one mistake, the entire pressing game off. Now, Senepar, Yamia Duma game ne sase, na PAG for no for ball. Na se Chelsea, send Yesiaki can go and press them. If they do press PAG for, can we show the match Chelsea? If they go all out, in fact, I'm not too sure it work. And let me give you 2 examples. Mame, Madrid the game, no, and I said by when they start showing me pictures. I mean, me more 2 examples of the game. Can where your PAG versus Bayern Munich? Hakimi and a ball ni bedini ho, and a Bayern Munich for air co pressing to say, oh, go and press them. The PAG for no press or more betting idea. Then quickly they all went to them. Can you show television as well? I'm press or mana bakola mo be far ball from the middle. And maybe I share me better idea be pa. Okay. Move on to the next game. The next example. PAG Real Madrid. Infonia mi yichira any the other one, any the same thing. Hakimi gets the ball, you press them, then one of their attackers drops. And now about picking the 1-2. Inti 1-2 pass no koya where you place in frame. So go back to the first example and show this example and see something. Can't score you. Share first one or no? Against Bayern Munich. Can't born be di Hakimi wa. It draws you inside. Na waba no mabobo no dia tuchi. Okay. Yanko the next one I had here. Inti wo pressing your coordinated na one mistake ba. Then PAG for any more numbers. Chain wo. Ewa the can't next one. When you more numbers, a chain wo ewa the attacking phase. This is against Real Madrid. Way and I would share third goal. Call the next one against Bayern Munich. So another example so soon the same thing. This is against Bayern Munich. Also so when your numbers someone attacking Bayern Munich. It me feel say Ken. Pressing is not the only way you can stop Paris Saint-Germain. If Chelsea gets their pressing game 100%, many problem. But me sure say it's 100%, sir. Because you can start your pressing game well, but how are you going to do that for 90 minutes against them? It's my solution for these things. And they say, look, Chelsea can be more compact, and that will be more reliable than going out full out to press Paris Saint-Germain for. No? Because PSG team, you know, now one day empire day. Share Luis Enrique team, I'll build you a Barcelona. No, now one day. Messi not on your speedster. Neymar not on your speedster. Sao their strengths not a dribbling. This team, Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, Desire Doi, Dembele, their strength is what pace. Until space. If you look at the profiles, then you begin say, and if I want to map up a strategy against them, what do I do? Because a winger now one day by a dribbling, I need to get close to him. Remember, I told you the video yesterday. Send your and the 9 ball. No, you are always close. But sa winger no, now one day by Enrique tour. Then you have to watch the space. Profiles then make sure the kind of way you should defend. If you are defending against Desire Doi, Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, you are looking at the spaces. Because Obia, now one day, epe space, the as a vampire be, Nediane ye moja. Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, Nediane ye den, almost space and obo. Desire Doi, almost space and oko. Obo. So why do you want to give them space? What pressing be too higher? More defenders so bow when him because I coordinated. Intercessor who bow him. Now wait a high line there to a and this Chelsea should prevent it because Chelsea need defenders. Mesa Chaloba, Levi Cowell, Tosin Adarabia, yo, whoever plays, you know, any defenders you can rely on them fully. Tosin, Levi Cowell, Chaloba, game on one bopa, a game with Chelsea, a compact, which you know, so utilize your player strength. First of all, Chelsea needs to draw their defensive line.
Chelsea strength here.
Chelsea
strength because now how I met me handle that boy Pedro Neto, the American.
Pedro Neto. Ken, Chelsea build up. Anyhow, PSG for press. PSG for strongest assets. How Dembele starts the pressing. Now against Inter Milan, Dembele press ya ma Yan Soma a baby not Oshe Dembele say ya. He was surprised. And now Tibu Kutua said the same thing. Because Obebo goal kicker, send ya kwana si bejina line so ha nenina Osha no. Are dangerous. Now one thing about Dembele's press, which is very interesting and unique, and they say Dembele almost straight away. Coach, you know, in fact, before the game, he will tell you what to do. Into Dembele person, no, either say or quite diagonal into another force. So I'm one pass. One person will pass. For instance, let me give you an example. About the Chelsea team, he analyzed the Chelsea team. Defender Ben Aboni Bedinwa or you're uncomfortable. Say a Trevor Chaloba, okay, and the Dembele, what press ya, make sure say goalkeeper and for ball name Levi Cowell. Force the goalkeeper to give the ball to Trevor Chaloba. See, that is how the game is. See, say, I am here Dembele here and the person and Yami Aduma game starts here. Or China person he does not go direct. Or be caught baby. Or be force one more passable on the diako. See, so a person are very dangerous. Now let's analyze and open up the game. Say Chelsea first of all. Say Chelsea here build up. Robert Sanchez or Pasiana. Because the build up starts with the goalkeeper. Chelsea they've been very fortunate to say tournaments where I Chelsea build up will be a 3-2-5. 4-2-5. It has always been like that. But it sounds like opposition no ensure that strong into no. The last 2 games, Chelsea are alternate system now in 3-1-6 because the opponents do not press them. This is going to be the first game. Chelsea be about opponents and be press on pa. Robert Sanchez, passing in the game. Passing in the. And I'm not comfortable with tossing Adrabio on the ball if he's being pressed by Dembele. I am also not comfortable with Levi Cowell around the ball if he's being pressed by Dembele. If Chelsea a for no, when you're too comfortable if you press them, then there is no need to be passing the ball from the back every time we be here. Sometimes they need to go long. Now, so how long conversation me feel say maybe I'll answer a question about Pedro Neto. Ken, look, the reality woman say PH4 weakest point here omuchiro. Meka omuchiro me the Hakimi ne Nuno Mendes ebe kan waka some their Chelsea. Hakimi coach na man unique role, free role number 2 one man chance so to me rotate bia. Into most times or banichia or check akra. And that is quite normal because so inipa. Na meka sa de sisi say Marquinhos, Lucas Barado, if you attack them well, omobre. Game a season way team PG4 Brepa was the game against Aston Villa second leg, you know. Now, it is a Chelsea back longer. I feel say Pedro Neto, Joao Pedro will be very crucial in this game. As I said, by this time, coach, you know, I'm too born in the mouth Robert Sanchez. So Robert Sanchez will be pressing on more born into space. Because Marquinhos, the ball, if you more befa. But if you put the ball at 2 space, Pedro Neto was American one, or making your head to omo. See, minim how Robert Sanchez is going to do that because he needs to be very accurate. Say, born long, no one money ye, na Marquinhos mo fa ball ne pet. Then Bona Sanso Abedi Paris Saint-Germain or for na omo now. Now, Ken. Menya. What about Pedro Neto first 9? I was thinking about this. Joao Pedro on the left. Maybe Kopama Sanama 10. Na wrestling, okay, maybe Nkunku so fine. Because as I said, Chelsea now runner a winning war. Marquinhos more comfortable with players to make a baby.
Marquinhos you'll be into me attacking. Because why are comfortable?
Very comfortable. Very comfortable.
About is so strong with you. Yeah. We don't know or pass well, but pressure ban is why you mistakes.
No, pressure ban is why you mistakes. And so I make us say, analyze on one so that is their weakest point. If that is the weakest point, sir, I was say Chelsea you'll be able to make. If Joao Pedro is going to run, no problem. But Pedro Neto, he's been consistent. He said, "Otrumi kabebre." They talk to you. I feel say Chelsea should utilize set pieces. In terms of gameplay, it looks like it's going to be very difficult. But Chelsea set pieces ever play crucial role in game way home. Because set pieces is a game momentum. PSG might be playing very well. If Chelsea gets one corner, one free kick, or Bobo Nisha momentum nasa. That is how football is. In set pieces, you know, Chelsea would have to take advantage of it because Chelsea tossing Adarabia yo owa, Levi Cowell owa, omo players are born and them yema, omo power umbetimiabo. So one advantage is that. Nakin Sanka Romeo Lavia bebo boni bia. I would say Chelsea for be handle go for ne kakra. Because my Enzo Maresca game na how bonnet o shut half team will be anwa. Obo Romeo Lavia, no Obo Moises Caicedo, no the Enzo Ato number 10, no the Copa Mako wings war. And say, okay. So Romeo Lavia Mobo Nibia or Tabo Regimes. I won't feel will be. Inti acquire me to say, and I fear for Chelsea if they do Moises Caicedo Enzo. Me not too sure. I'm not too comfortable with that. Maybe we are going to see James Moises Caicedo. Now Enzo as number 10, maybe Kopama on the wings. Now Malo Ghost, I'm not too comfortable with him, but the reason why probably he would coach would want to allow him play in the pace.
Okay.
Which is very important because central defensive area or Chelsea one very important because one Dembele more as a number 9. They be or dropper no abefa ball no tendency. That double pivot for Chelsea, very important. Whoever plays, baby, I make sure wakakra. Last one, nimsa ombre. Time coach ni ba and Louis Enrique ba PH, one of criticisms near the man say, PH for first half among yadi. They were struggling to score goals in the first 19 Champions League games. 19 Champions League games. Now PH for 13 of them first half no much go. So then the criticism got to the coach. And also best son Niema. Okay. The last 17, 9 of them, you started your first 20 minutes or so go. Now I'm not going to go deep. And I know against Inter Milan, Hakimi go about time being 12 minutes. And I know against Atletico Madrid, Fabian Ruiz go no the same time. And I know against Real Madrid, Fabian Ruiz go no about time being first 20 minutes. Ken, say ya to coin or no? Na say a Paris Saint-Germain na a best starting game no. Someone you know send a PhD for starting game no. And we are no more born they are too true. Quickly, na afei omaba be go one area no ma start omo pressing game no. Until your first 20 minutes against Paris Saint-Germain is very important. If Chelsea do not start the game well, because you cannot chase PH 1 or show 2. Now cause afei na obe chase game no, you will end up losing the game 5-0. Me pa chote me come na say. It is better so Chelsea wo be she na PH for na ba onim so we are coming to score. I want to cry about Chelsea say Chelsea can defend. Now from a catch on a counter break. But some PH for the show early in the first 20 minutes. Now workers okay after them be a big game no more bar. Why any na anko ya farm. So first 20 minutes very important. No need for Chelsea to be opening and doing pressing. Sir, absolute pressing. I'm not sure because Chelsea cannot be consistent without pressing for 90 minutes. Chelsea should stay compact because Trevor Chalobah, Levi Cowell, Cucurella, Ray James, Moise Caicedo, so I'm pa a timer system no ama Chelsea I am more compact. Chelsea can hit Paris Saint-Germain via counter attacks. Okay. If Chelsea opens up all my spaces at Chilewa, come on, best PH for be show.
Eno Edolson Enzo Ediano. My big imra, you are a bafina, you have didn't come over pre. Biggie, sir, Bokobium dear. Okay, twas mammy.
Prime Minister a lot about the Paris Saint-Germain Chelsea game.
Okay.
I dear back and I make a farm, no matter that story. So, Coach Bia on a philosophy. Me jitumsa. There are a lot of coaches in the system now. I feel that the best way to defend is to attack because when a lot of the balls are ultimately hitting. But then again, there are also coaches who feel say the best way to defend is also to defend and defend very well. And me feel say against Paris Saint-Germain, say open results, CCR. The best way to get the results is to defend and defend well. Make us because in 2025, every January, Paris Saint-Germain in all competitions can lose 5 matches. 5 matches now PSG lose no. Emu be anyone more team no any PSG boy no or dominate Paris Saint-Germain or the win here. Debbie. Omu jaima Paris Saint-Germain bo. No more defending omu lines and defending the game. Paris Saint-Germain lose to Liverpool. Liverpool bought 30% of the game. And a Paris Saint-Germain bought possession bought 70. Or lose here. Or bought to Aston Villa or lose 3-2. Aston Villa bought 34% of the game. And a Paris Saint-Germain bought the Akano. Nice. Paris Saint-Germain lose to Omo. About 24% only of ball possession. Strasbourg about 36% against Paris Saint-Germain. And after team my friend say Botafogo Ken our club World Cup anymore. And so share Paris Saint-Germain 1-0. Or share PSG 1-0 no. On also ball only 25% of the ball possession and or winning 1-0. It is a Chelsea per results against Paris Saint-Germain. They have to make sure. So we be defend your lines. No more defend it very well. And they beat me the results and I break Chelsea. Moving on. Club World Cup, no, there are teams are very the amomo. Real Madrid is one of those teams. And there are certain decisions I can't want some more. Coach a friend says Xabi Alonso. Baba be taking his decisions in this year. Decisions now coach and Baba be taking certain positions our Madrid team. We talked about it the last time. Say the left back position one of those positions. It's Omoko Club World Cup. No, now player friend say Fran Garcia. Enim say you justify your inclusion and so person will stay Real Madrid Bobo Korim no nya bi time will be Abrante and Club World Cup. No, he was one of the best performers for Real Madrid. One fan nya kwadro. When Jini Yema Bobono aboni ye pa e dia Madrid Bobo Kono. Madrid a film. Ferland Mendy any opportunity and back Club World Cup because of injuries. It's the coach na ntimi assess no. But still the coach has to take a decision say between Ferland Mendy and Fran Garcia obeyimu baako. Say oyimu baako looking at ball now Fran Garcia kwa ball Club World Cup ni no. E be ding so obeyi Ferland Mendy ahead of him. The coach na decide say obey you see the obabeto ye e wo Real Madrid Bobo Konim any the odi na nie hu and odi be take this particular decision the obabeto ye ne den obeto e Ferland Mendy a one ya fit am farmer Real Madrid last season. Ferland Mendy in the Spanish La Liga ebo be 14 matches and the Real Madrid Bobo Kono injuries have branch any throughout the season. The coach ni gidie so branch any betimi aye fit no stay consistent the Real Madrid Bobo Kono. That is number 1. Number 2, Ferland Mendy na ye di ne hon komo. A lot of people forget that akwada ni mfie so ko animu. Ken Ferland Mendy was 30 years as a footballer. And the coach Xabi Alonso feel say so obe peke Ferland Mendy. There, obe trade you on minimum a player injury say hano. No what 30 years. Obe mo minimum mako. No wa Abrante a friend say Fran Garcia who is 25 years. No wa Alvaro Carreras and so the naka 22 years relatively age e wo mrantie mienu we side. A Chinese Ferland Mendy. No, and share that enjoy a very good game, and I say good games before coach and Eba. Now injuries into so air hano. Now come on, a brand tell you so I could say, or better so better Real Madrid Bobo Kono fighting for a position. He feels said defensively or a very solid. And the Abia, the left wing back now only be more. Not being yan so bet me the left centre back position and so about the Real Madrid Bobo Kono. Pen come on and now for Kwakwa. But then again, men so much say I'm a share. Edi nkomo kakra ye nhwehwemu kakra no me feel say akwada ni position no person about the left center back ken so be the center back rule you need a bit of height. Real Madrid defenders ni nyina uyi Fran Garcia na uyi Cavaja efri hono mo a omo maka ni nyina obia tenten anasa ne height e was so the chain Ferland Mendy there. It's that kind of mindset akwada no so anya no ne height e be a problem and so the amano it's quite unfortunate say bia na coach the decision no baba be taking it there. Ferland Mendy and Madrid Ekumano Ebekano I'm gonna free the left back position no make you way for other players or move it to me about no. Moving on. Say Chelsea Bobo Konin ready. So beton Nicholas Jackson no come plans on Chelsea have to tell the world. Sabranti and one Tom. Name more come plans on. Make away because yen set player price tag keke. Just because player na nina wabobobia keke dia two player so there be. You look at the performance of the player. Quality a player and the back on board. On and even off the field. And never be bring accounting to that. Player na nkasa. Who you born na obonu mni free one more. Who ton player na ye to. Not all turners in say oh make a move. Name just sales any a lot of things. And ohasa nyama ni nyina. Now they are pricey player no. Nicholas Jackson season that you know. Open the top 20 scorers in the English Premier League. Now Nicholas Jackson and Kahoken. He wasn't part among the top 20 scorers in English Premier League. There are other players among your number 9s. They had numbers than player friend say Nicholas Jackson. Mbuemo is a typical example. Yan Wisa is an example. Yenya Chris Wood no mo so number 9 so mo de money konkan. Alexander Isak no. Any other players are omunya extraordinary season English Premier League ni mo. But a lot of these players prices are yet for mo around 50 to 70. It is why I was doing over Tony Nicholas Jackson. Now over 100 million. Me ametia no me feel say when you ready so over Tom Abrante no. Nemum kana untimi nkanche wiase. Enti Chelsea nya firm on their decision. Say Nicholas Jackson is a striker omo ne pe. Na Abrante ne ka omo plans ho. Omo nya ready so omo ton Abrante no enso amanako. Omo kana sa wiase nyina beti ase. Na omo ye interested na stay off. Than say omo de an outrageous price tag. 100 million pounds. And the two Abrante friend say Nicholas Jackson so because the price tag was really too much. For suitors omo be ready so me baba be fa Abrante no. Ken I am very happy say and now ma me hu ye and also ma ye hu ye say team my friend is Barcelona officially coach my friend is Hansi Flick Eshia a goalkeeper Andre ter Stegen and in a dim komo aka and plane so you run next season more on your part of the plans Barcelona bobo konim previously now branch any dim komo one chain so only the onti will be a case because Barcelona penny for no omo ye adwuma no obi antimi man animu mabie na no enka nche de se won ka omo plans ho obeti nsem bia na ye radio so obeti nsem bia na ye TV so obeti nsem bia na ye newspapers mu the various tabloids emu na oba beti nsem se Barca nya ready so ne be ye adwuma but de bia me kase sa assembly for obi ho na se won ben nipa ne nka nche na de nipa ne beti won chen bi ono ne pa na ode ye adwuma. It's officially in penny former coach na share player normal catch and say you read the new season more on come plans on. It's now you have to take a decision upon the wire dia ma Barcelona nyina enye way na oba be gina so dia say legacy for the Barcelona club. You've been a long servant for Barcelona, a very good one for that matter. What boama boboko na jiji nkru wa bebre ababa be do that kind of stage abasa feel say baby omo person omo ko direction na omo ko no omo ntimi ne won to aso nko sa direction no because the obeye dia maboboko ni nyina wa ye de awie yakofa wanga ase aba a obaba be number 1 Chesney ebe renew the contract a obeye number 2 it is obenya opportunity for Barcelona boboko ni mo a you are going to be the third choice and menya sure say it be fit the standards of a ter Stegen performance award dynasty the consistency he's had in his football career any ade no say akwa ko ba say wo so free boboko ni because choose other players over you are. This is the time the player has to leave. Man in Barcelona boboko nim say chinchire kan oni baby akọ. Say na won tie and until now take that decision now officially you approach you aka che te adwuma na ye baba be project na ye be ye obasa no ye ntimi mfa won ka ho akwantu no won ka ho biem eti afi wo so si form every bas nim na Barcelona boboko ne to aso a onsi man in between chinchan na legacy na wa build wo Barcelona no on fa use few months and dates and fan say that legacy our build wo Barca ken we a story about Samu Morudion and he's one player anytime I hear about him I get very happy. I get happy because nipa kakra bi na betimi atofo mo abrabom not due to whatever circumstances I am so more tofo no o ma overcome some circumstances no ma sorry ejina omo na so say omo be fight no ma get back to the best of form and after whatever they were doing Abrantia will see so it was Spanish La Liga from Granada and onya opportunity and Atletico Madrid kotono Atletico Madrid tono na no de ma loan to Alaves sa season one she goals bebre wala Liga nim no kre but no na Alaves top scorer with 8 goals in that season. It will share 8 goals ma Alaves no and any kakra ba ne ho Chelsea went in so mo kwa kopa Abrantia no. He is a player, not Chelsea supporter be abofu. So I'm peno because I'm feel sa kwada ne nyade ne mode mon konkan. And now untimi blame the Chelsea supporters because at that time na Chelsea feel say based on strikers some about team ne ko in the past and come deserve a better striker than Samu Morudion because no a player only the Spanish under 23 team Ako Olympics not a bench for the under 23 ono na no mo kwa fan so starting for Chelsea na supporters ne mpe obey medicals for Chelsea and a buy say epra e wa Abrantia ni kotodwem and na Chelsea supporters ni na bo say because yempe and na buy epra sa ba be dan ho adi and ye danyame asepa akwada na bemambo he granted an interview say eye ne ya one of the worst times in the career he's had a bad season after say and make that move atiatum. But he went to FC Porto. They give him the opportunity. Season year open one of the best players in the Portuguese league account. The only player who share goals to channel Jokeres. On a Pavlidis, Obiasha 19 goals. Omumian Naneda Jokeres. Even Pavlidis played more matches than Samu Morudion. Pavlidis bought 34 games and Morudion bought 30. But yet on any goals pay. Aside and in the Europa League, where make us a second tier European competition. Big players Ekwakoshia Onobiacha and Modemono. Abrantia was among the second top scorers in Europa League. Bruno Fernandes, HS7. Kasper Hogg, HS7. These were players who share goals and the chair Abrantia friend says Samu Morudion. Or share 6 goals in Europa after playing 9 matches for your FC Porto. It's upon their 2 Nini Nano. Abrantia na Bemuemu were making sure so big Jinan and also no fight it to to get back to the best of form. Now, after say he's a good player, no, and he's done that very well. This is the stage in this one relented. Is to maintain the status when you get to the top. So we drew through one problem. But what drew through one really consistency of the best stay was through and a problem. It's now unproven Chobia. Say one season wonder and a winner. Nemo is ready to take over European football at the top level. Just to prove those are no more doubting or no wrong. Say he's a good player, Ken.
Since I say a friend Agahoa and Omuru Jumbi.
Yes.
Agahoa.
Yes, sir, or Nigerian. And ni krom din no it was decided so the no benantia it is good unforce na neman konkan ma no because I'm very very happy for him anytime I hear good news about the player Ken
and eba be din komo bebre enchokra yen komo no Enzo